Another important fact about human beings that is not really understood is we are obsessed with being creative and expressing ourselves. That's who we are. Okay? We are the imagination, personified, manifested, made tangible, made visceral. Okay? But we are imagination itself. Our imagination is resilient and will always find a way to shine. Okay? So you may know of people who lose a sense, right? So if you can't see, your hearing improves. Or these people are deaf, okay? So they can't hear, but then they're able to see much stronger, okay? And they use sign language to communicate. And one thing that I've noticed in China is that when I go to restaurants, now and then there'll be groups of deaf people communicating with each other. They're always happy. In fact, they're the happiest people you will ever meet in China. And it's not because they're doing sign language, it's because deaf people have a deeper emotional intelligence. And so when they're together, they're able to communicate emotionally, and that brings tremendous joy and comfort to them. Okay? Does that make sense? All right, let's give another example. This is the greatest composer, one of the greatest composers in human history, Beethoven. His music is startling. Okay? His music is extremely famous. Problem is, he was deaf. That's kind of strange. How is it possible for you to be deaf, yet at the same time compose some of the world's greatest music? The answer is, he saw the music. Okay? The music came to him in dreams and was able to see the picture. Okay? Because what is music? Music is vibrations, right? So, but they're like vibrations, they're waves, right? So you can actually see for yourself a movie of vibrations. And the more symmetrical these vibrations are, the more beautiful the music is. Does that make sense? So because he saw the music, he was able to create music that was unique in human history. Others hear the music, but he saw the music and it turned into a movie, okay, of movement. All right. This is John Milton. He wrote Paradise Lost. Problem is, he wrote it while he was blind, okay? How did he do that? Because he heard the songs, okay? He turned Paradise Lost into a musical, into music. So he actually didn't need to speak it out. He just heard it out, okay? So he had secretaries who wrote out whatever he sang out. And that's why when you read Paradise Lost, it's actually like music. It's beautiful. It's probably the most beautiful poetry ever composed in the English language. So you can see how resilient the human imagination is. If you want to express yourself, you'll find a way. Okay? It's all about will. Do you really want to express yourself? Because if you do, you'll always find a way. Okay? All right. So this is another lesson that you will learn this semester. We are socialized into mundanity. Our true selves are divine. Okay? You're normal, you're boring, you're not talented because you believe what others tell you. Okay? Society does not want talented people. Society does not want interesting people. Society just wants robots and slaves. So schools, companies, organizations socialize you into mundanity. Okay? Into nothingness. But if you look at your true self, it is divine. Now I'll give you examples of this. A lot of people have Alzheimer's. So what literally happens is they're losing their minds. And this is a self-portrait of an artist who documented himself losing his mind. So when he was first diagnosed, he drew a picture of himself, okay? And then a year later, he drew another picture of himself, and on and on and on. As you can see, by this time, he's completely lost his sense of being, okay? So you can use this picture as a metaphor for Alzheimer's, and you can see for yourself what it means to lose your mind. But there's another way to understand this picture, which is what's really happening is that the artist, he's shedding his artifice. He's shedding his clothing and revealing his true self, okay? What Alzheimer's is losing your socialization. Because you're losing your ability to speak. You're losing your ability to verbalize your ideas. You're losing your ability to communicate with others. And what's left behind are three things. First is your spiritual desires. So a lot of people with Alzheimer's, for whatever reason, they go to church suddenly. Okay? They're not religious. Maybe they grow up in an atheist household. They don't have any association with religion. But once they develop Alzheimer's, they have this spiritual desire to go to church and pray. It's really amazing. Okay? That's number one. Number two is they love to sing. Okay? They don't talk, but they sing. The third thing is they draw. Okay? This is a painting by an Alzheimer's patient. Okay? Not great. But guess what, guys? He did this when he was like 80 years old, and he never painted before. Okay? That's pretty amazing. Never painted before, but the moment he had Alzheimer's, his true divine self opened up, and he wanted to express himself. Okay? So what they say about Alzheimer's is you hear voices. You see things that aren't there. It's hallucination. But guess what, guys? I told you this. During the Ice Age era, we all did this. We all believed that we coexisted with ghosts, with spirits, with fairies. Okay? And this was true throughout most of human history. So even though, yes, medically speaking, psychologically speaking, these people with Alzheimer's, they are hearing voices. But the reason why is the voices were always there. We just forgot about it because we're socialized to forget about the different forces, the different voices that exist along us, okay? This is a person who uses psychedelics. Okay, she's an artist, but she's using psychedelics. And the thing about psychedelics is it's almost similar to having Alzheimer's, where you shed away your socialization and you almost enter a spiritual realm, okay? As you can see, this is a picture of a cat. What she's doing is she's showing a cat that's the divine cat, okay? She's seeing the energy field of the cat. She's seeing the memory. She's seeing the aspirations. She's seeing the intuition, the imagination of the cat and embedding it into the artwork. This is another person on psychedelics. What's interesting is there's no time and space in art, in this art. So it becomes almost incomprehensible to us, okay? Why is there a helicopter? Why is there a cat, okay? Well, that's how we truly are, okay? We don't have a concept of space and time. We see things as they are. And this picture shows you that. And we can see how the pictures are, it's a heightened reality, okay? Much more vibrant colors. Okay, and another psychedelic painting. Okay, as you can see, no concept of time and space. Okay, it's all just one unity of things. Vincent van Gogh, okay, the greatest painter who's ever lived. His paintings are utterly unique in human history. This is Starry Night, and this is Sunflower, okay? But you can see how he has shedded away his socialization. He doesn't care how this is communicated to other people. All he cares is about the picture itself. Okay, so it glows with life. All right, so let's summarize the concepts that we've learned, okay? So you've been brainwashed into thinking certain ideas about who we are. They're not true. The first myth is we humans are driven by material desires. Okay? So why do we want, so what do we want? We want a lot of money. Okay? We want to pass on our genes. We want to marry a lot of beautiful women who are young, and so they can give us a lot of babies because we want to pass on our genes. Okay? And we want to maintain our status. All we care about is power. Okay? Fundamentally, we humans are fundamentally imagination. And we care about three things. The first is we want to express our religion through art, music, and rituals. We want to know where we came from, why we're here, where we're going. Okay? That's who we really are. That's the first thing. Second thing is we are diverse and want to differentiate ourselves. Okay? We want to stand out. We want to be different. We want to be creative. The third thing is we are curious and want to explore. And that's what explains why we go everywhere. Okay? This has been true throughout human history. We may not have documents saying that we were traveling, but we were traveling because there's always some of us who want to go and see a new world, even though it may not exist. That's who we are fundamentally. So don't believe people when they say, oh, okay, you just care about money, you just care about power, you just care about sex. That's not who we are. What we are fundamentally religious, spiritual beings that want to create and to love and to connect. Okay, that's the first myth. Second myth is the most natural unit is a family and men want to protect their property, which includes women, okay? So maybe you've been taught that, okay, men are in charge and women are just animals to breed babies. Okay, that's not true. For most of human history, it was women who had control of their bodies. Women could choose who to sleep with and how many men to sleep with, and they often chose to sleep with everyone. Why? Because sleeping with other men, first of all, women enjoy it, okay? But second of all, it allows women to create social cohesion. So for most of human history, early civilizations, women were the core and center of all societies. And the third thing is, there's actually a strategy in sleeping with many different men because now everyone is responsible for raising a child. Does that make sense? If I'm the father and I know exactly who my children are, then I'm going to protect my children and discard everyone else, okay? But if no one knows who the fathers are, everyone's responsible for taking care of every single child. And that's the best strategy that they can have, okay? Because that ensures that every child becomes successful, okay? Does that make sense? Okay, so the second myth that we will discuss later on. Third myth. Humans follow the iron rule of nature, survival of the fittest. Okay, that's what you're taught by Darwin. That's what evolution is. But that's wrong. Okay? Throughout most of human history, humans cared for each other. We were compassionate, empathy, right? We believe that every creature has divinity, and those who are weakest have the most divinity. That's why when we kill an animal, we still thank the animal, because we're all part of the same life cycle. All right? Number 4, humans have gotten smarter over the centuries. Civilization is far superior to primitive cultures. Again, this is wrong, okay? The truth is that with the development of civilization, the human imagination has decreased. Our brains can be supercomputers if we allow them to be. Primitive people are more creative, which means they have better memories than we do, okay? They're able to recall more stuff. They're able to store more information. They're more sensitive perception. They have more empathy, okay? They know exactly how you're feeling, why you're feeling it, and how to make you feel better. And greater emotional resilience, okay? So they're much more mature than we are. Okay. Number 5, we evolved from apes. The truth is that we are uniquely imaginative and we can choose our own evolution. Don't believe we're apes, okay? If you believe you're an ape, then you're an ape, okay? If you're an ape, then you like to go beat people up and like have sex with like a lot of women, okay? But we're not apes. We're imaginative first and foremost, and as such, we have control over our lives. And that's something that you have to like learn for yourself. All right? So let me give an example of this to conclude the class.